Hey guys, what's up? It's Reed. This week's topic is trans hate. I really would have liked to prepare something to say about this instead of just kind of going for it, but I worked a 12-hour day today, and it was supposed to be my day off. And yesterday is also, I'm supposed to have Saturday and Sunday off, but I worked yesterday as well, so I didn't have a lot of time to prepare anything for this, and I also didn't have a lot of time to kind of reflect on what maybe I would say. So, sorry in advance if this video kind of sucks, and also sorry in advance if it has to be a little short. Like I said, this week's topic is trans hate. I think that as a community, we receive a lot of hate. I think that a lot of it stems from ignorance. I think that a lot of people don't know a lot about trans people, and I think that a lot of people are afraid to know about trans people because what does that mean about them? And, are we an okay people to learn about? And of course, we know that we are, but I think that to heteronormative, cisgendered people, being trans is kind of scary in a way, and I think that for a lot of people it's even more out there than being gay is. We see a lot of movements for equal rights for LGBT people, and a lot of people kind of just latch on to the LG part and tend to forget about the BT, or if they do remember it at all, it's kind of an afterthought, and I think that that is very indicative of the way that we're treated, because it's kind of like we're sort of an afterthought, and why that is can be different. It could be fear, it could be ignorance, it could be hate, but I think that a lot of those things often fall into the same category, and often ignorance can be perceived as hate. Is ignorance hate? Is ignorance a form of hate? Maybe it is. Maybe the people are ignorant about trans people because they don't want to know about them, and because they're internally transphobic. I think that a lot of people are internally transphobic and maybe might not know it. And I don't think that this is limited to heteronormative cis people. I think that this is everyone. Anyone could be transphobic and not know it. Even trans people could be transphobic. Often, because people are ignorant, it can be perceived as hate. Maybe offensive questions people might ask you are perceived as hateful questions, or comments or something like that can be perceived as hateful, and maybe they are. I'm not saying that because they're ignorant, it's a reason to dismiss what they've said or asked. I think that because people are ignorant, maybe they're curious, maybe they ask something or make a remark, and because it's perceived as hate, maybe the reply comes back a little, aggressive, or maybe it comes back with a little hate from our part too. And I think that as trans people, a lot of us have learned to cope by being that way, and a lot of us are pretty defensive because we have to be. Depending on where you live, and depending on who you surround yourself with, being trans can be very dangerous. I knew through somebody who worked for MTPC, which is Mass Trans Political Coalition, about a lot of hate crimes in Massachusetts against trans people. Not only hate crimes, but also, refusing to let them in public places, and refusing service, and a lot of hateful things. And the point that I'm trying to make is that a lot of those things come from ignorance. So maybe being ignorant is, a form of trans hate, but I think that you kind of have to, sort it out. I have a friend who has said a lot of hateful things to me unknowingly. He's ignorant. He's very much ingrained in the heteronormative, dominant, and very patriarchal male role, and he takes that on very seriously. And then he tries to ask me stuff about being trans, and it comes off as hateful, and it comes off as rude and offensive. But I know that he doesn't hate trans people, and I know that he's not transphobic, and I know that it's not angry. He just doesn't know any better. And I think that before we kind of get defensive and worked up about it, we should kind of step back and ask ourselves if someone is coming at us from a point of hate, or if they are coming from a point of ignorance, or just no knowledge. I'm not saying that there aren't, true haters out there. There are often people who do come at it as hate, and are not interested, but only trying to lecture and trying to preach. And I think that that is so wrong. Not just for trans people, I just think that that is wrong in general. I also think that the way that you take your haters, I guess, is really important. I think that if you let yourself get bogged down by hate, that it'll really affect you. But I think that if you kind of try to take the hate that people have toward trans people, and you have to remember that it's not you, it's trans people. It's not you as a person, it's trans people that they have the problem with. You have to take that energy and kind of turn it around. I got this hat recently. If any of you know the DGK, the brand, this is their like logo, or it's their like motto or whatever, I heart haters, and then on the brim it says motivation. I think that that is so powerful and so important. I think that haters should be motivation. I think that trans hate is terrible, and I think that we should try as much as we can to eliminate it and diminish it. But I also think that we should take that hate and take the energy from it and just turn it around and make it motivation for us. I have learned over the years to do that. I have a problem in general with taking what people say to me to heart. And I know that it's a problem that I have, and I know that I get offended really easily, and I get upset about it. But in my life as a trans person, the discrimination and the hate that I've faced, I try to turn around and, just make it motivation for me to be a better person and to educate people. I think that that's what it's really all about, is to educate people. I think that that's so important. So that's my message about hate. I hope that you guys got something out of that. Maybe you're going to want to change the way you perceive hate. I don't know. It took me a very long time, but finally I realized that, just use it as motivation. One up them. They'll get mad if you do that, so it's fun. Alright guys, stay tuned for next week. Everybody give a shout out to Chase. It was his top surgery. He got top surgery on the 30th, so everybody give him a shout out. Tell him to feel better. He's all drugged up, and it's funny. So keep auditioning as well. I've been watching all the videos, and all of the guys I know are watching the videos that you post, and we're all talking about them. So keep auditioning, and I'll see you guys later.